Okay, go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay, and here we are. I understand there might be a question coming up. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
All right, go ahead.
So, Michael, dealing with the idea of being part of a system of nature, teachers don't seem to know how to teach their children how to be a part of that system. What do you suggest?
Well, you know what we got to do then is to teach the teachers. We have to let the teachers know that they go into this profession because they want to help. They want to, I don't know, help in society to improve the lot of other students. I don't think they go into it just because it's a job, or it's more of a calling. Maybe it's kind of like going in to become a priest, a rabbi, or it's a calling. I think we're all teachers, but we have to let the new generation of teachers know that it's.
Oh, wait a sec. Ads.
What? Say again?
Someone said there's ads.
There's who?
Ads, advertisements.
Oh, there's an ad going on? Never mind. All right, now we're back. Okay, so the question was, what are we going to do with the teachers? How can the teacher who has been brought up through the system teach the kids to cooperate rather than compete? We got to teach the teachers. We have to show them that unity, that the cooperating within a group is not only the desired way, but it's the only way that we can have a generation of students thriving and helping each other. Now, listen to me. I was talking to you about failure, and let me just share with you something I was provided with. Each person has to be given the opportunity to develop towards connecting with the rest. He shouldn't be developed personally, accepting all types of egoistic successes and distinction. This is what today's schools are busy doing. They are not educating a person, but just giving a professional orientation. Right now, we are teaching them to take tests. We are teaching them to get high grades. We are teaching them to be parrots, to mimic back what the teacher has just tried to feed them. That is not learning to be human. That is not learning to be part of our society, to be part of a group.
Michael, our viewer Shushik asks, why do we need to teach our kids about nature's laws? Given the tsunamis, earthquakes, etc., maybe we need more soldiers, firefighters, and medics in the current situation or crisis.
Well, where do you think the teachers, the firefighters, the soldiers learn from? And how are they going to show compassion? How are they going to make the right choices? Now, you know what I'm talking about when I say right choices. Sasha, you know, because you've had to make those choices. Now, if this is the same Sasha I know that I've met. Who?
Shushik.
Ah, well, never mind. Well, you still know. I don't care who you are, where you're from. You know that deep inside, there's a term that we used to use in the legal profession. When I was talking to a jury, I would say, does what I'm saying have a ring of truth? If it doesn't, don't believe it. Don't believe a word of it. But if you, deep inside, have the feeling that, yeah, you know, that sounds right. It has the ring of truth. That's what we have to teach all of the profession. That's what we have to teach every person going into whatever job they choose as an adult or an older teen. We got to let them know that the best service, the best field I think a person can go into is the service industry. I mean, I can't think of anything better than serving your country, serving your community, serving in a hospital to do for others. And you can't just be on the top of your class. You're not serving anyone except yourself, your individual egoistic self. In order to really serve, you have to have it inside of you. You have to, I don't know, what is the word I'm looking for? You have to be empathetic. You have to feel another person's pain. You have to feel their suffering. You have to feel the emptiness in order for you to suffer. Strike that. In order for you to deal with the suffering. And isn't that what we want? We all want to avoid suffering, to get away from the causes of suffering. We want to be happy. We want the pleasure that is rightfully ours. Not egoistically, but to take that pleasure and just maybe put a lid on it. And then, from what you're getting, that pleasure, bestow a little bit towards nature. And that can be another person. Maybe it can be animals. Maybe it can be the plants or the woods. Maybe it can be something in the still, vegetative, animalistic, or
Michael,
talking world.
What was the topic of this?
Education.
Of
We're
this
still
section, though.
This section was, damn it, I lost it. Well, okay, bear with me. I'll try to find this. What do you think it should be? All right, here you go. I got it underlined right here. You know, it's really nice to have some people who are in your group. They'll help you. When you feel that you're just falling and you're on a trapeze, you're on that wire, and you fall and you wonder, what the hell is going to come of me? And then a friend, a dear friend, will be there to help you, to catch you, to grab your arms, and to swing you back up to where you have to be. Karen, I thank you. You are one hell of a swinger. Now, number 2, who educates our kids today? We have teachers who, like I said, go into the profession to do good. And I think that's where they start out. They hit a wall, they hit the system, and unfortunately, unless they have the fortitude, many, unfortunately, have to bend, have to, I don't know, maybe alter some of their ideals. We shouldn't have that. We should have the teachers keep the ideals. We should have the teachers teach in a way that the student becomes a cooperative person rather than a competing person. And that has to be, it has to be a hell of a teacher that can do that, because that teacher has to go to the quietest one, the one that doesn't respond as much as the so-called better student. And that's the one I'm concerned about, because if we don't bring along that one student that's shy, withdrawn, then we're not getting ahead. We're not doing what we're supposed to do for humanity, for ourselves, for the group.
Michael, Angela says everybody needs to be educated, and continues, if you don't learn new stuff, your brain becomes rusty.
I agree, totally. And one of the things that I've been learning, and it's taken me perhaps my entire life to get to the point where I began a journey maybe 3 years ago. I found some extra time, and I did some research, and I found out that what I learned at age 7 in this path that I'm following now holds true. And I read the Baltimore Catechism, so bear with me, any of you mackerel snappers out there, that is the Catholics. I read the purpose of life is to know, love, and serve God. Now, I have developed a different definition of God. It's not the fire and brimstone, white-bearded guy up on the cloud throwing out the lightning bolts when he gets displeased, and most of the time he is displeased. I can't think of a really kind God, because he's always very stern with me. And when I heard about the fear of God, I think, my God, am I pissing him off? I go, what the hell can I do right? I would always be on the wrong side of God. Well, I found out that the creator, the force, the source that is above us, that is part of nature, it is the wisdom in nature's goodness. It is there for both the good and the bad. And, I've done some bad things in my life. And, that's how I learned. I have failed. I have done so many different things that despicable, as Daffy Duck would say. Was it despicable? I think he slurred a little. Despicable! And that was a way of learning. But I was fortunate enough to have people in a group who were understanding. I was fortunate to have people say, Michael, you're not all that bad. It's something that was part of maybe where you grew up, what you were influenced by, and maybe it was a past life. I don't know. How about my genes? I'm Greek. Are we a warrior class, or are we a lover class? I don't know. I like to think that I'm a mixture of both. But again, I have found that by failing I've been able to succeed. And unfortunately, today's kids are not taught that it's okay to fail. We don't want them to fail. We want them to get nothing but high grades.
Michael, do you believe this idea of cooperation and mentorship that you're speaking about is just a utopian vision? How can it be implemented practically in school?
Well, Karen,
How can we teach our teachers?
You and I discussed this on the ride over here. Is this a utopia? Are we seeking a utopia in asking for this type of perfection? We have to believe that these are the correct steps to take, even if we don't reach that high, lofty level up there. It is the way to go. It is the natural way. Too often we focus more on the individual, on the egoistic grades in the system to push ahead. We have to get back to achieving studies and being with the books and sharing, but to learn that there is more to life than the high grades. It's getting along. It's helping. It's going out of your way to make sure that your friend is there with you, your buddy. One thing I learned when I was in the military is the buddy system. And when I went to Vietnam, I wasn't fighting for mom's apple pie. I wasn't fighting for the good old USA. I was fighting for my buddy. If anything happened to him, I'd want to kill. If anything happened to him, I would take a bullet for him. And it was him. I was fighting for him. I learned to cover his back when he covered mine. When we went out and had to take a shit, he was there with his M16 to make sure that I wasn't going to be shot while I was...
Michael, more on topic. This is what Sushik says. Here is a modern education. A science graduate asks, why does it work? An engineering graduate asks, how does it work? The business graduate asks, how much will it cost? A drama graduate asks, do you want fries with that? Vasir Mutar is asking, you're supposed to smile.
All right, I'm smiling,
Okay.
I'm smiling.
Vasir
Okay.
Mutar asks, how can we change the system? It's hard to beat the system.
Well, we have to understand the education is for both paths. We got to know, you got to get the grades, you got to impress the people that are going to give you the slots in whatever field you choose to go into. But you got to know that you're not there alone. You're not getting there alone. Someone has helped you. And by becoming friends with others in the field, mentors perhaps, people that have been there, people who have learned that it's nature's way to help, to intercede for others, that is the way that we can grow together and become the same high salary person, but a more caring one, a more compassionate one, and a better human being for everyone.
Maybe you can read a few quotes by...
Yes, I'm glad that you brought it to my attention. Now, these are quotes from some of the philosophers, scholars, people who have been in the teaching business. I have highlighted one, and let me just read it. I can't pronounce the name. It looks
Paulo Freire.
Paulo Freire, A Pedagogy of the Oppressed. Huh?
Pedagogy of the Oppressed.
Well, whatever. Okay. Pedagogy, whatever that is. Okay. For you intelligent ones, you know what it is. Now, I was not raised to even pronounce the word pedagogy. It sounds like, well, I'm not going to say what it sounds like. Okay. Quote, for apart from inquiry, apart from the praxis, individuals cannot be truly human. Knowledge emerges only through invention and reinvention, through the restless, impatient, continuing, hopeful inquiry human beings pursue in the world, and with each other. Now that sure sounds like being in a group. By taking the risk of failure. Let me get back to failure. I mean, we don't allow students to fail. It is only when we teach them, hey, you have to fail. You have to make mistakes. You don't know everything. And the best way for you to learn to invent something, for you to create something, for you to use that innate ability, that quality inside of you, you have to take the chance of failing again and again and again until you are satisfied with that finished product. You are satisfied that you've had success. And then you learn that success and failure are pretty much the same. And the only thing that really counts is the process of getting to where you are.
And
go ahead.
To close and to change the goal. If you have a different goal, then what was once perceived as failure becomes non-failure.
Yes, it becomes non-failure. It becomes part of the steps of learning. It becomes part of the process. I pity the kid that doesn't try because they're too afraid of failing. They don't want to ask that question because it's a stupid question. Well, we all know the only stupid question is the one that's not asked. We have to ask those questions even though we think, oh, we're going to be ridiculed. Now I understand that we might be coming to a close on this section. Stick with us and come right back. See you then.